Did you hear anything?
Not so much. These insulated mugs are great for keeping hot coffee in, but terrible on sound.
Take the silicone off, Marcus.
Oh, yes.
Okay, do you hear anything now?
Oh, a little better. It sounds like she asked him for a ride, or maybe a bribe, or the time.
This would be so much better if I could hear. You don't have that stupid accent and that commentary.
Oh, maybe I should put the insulation back on. Let's see here.
What do you got?
Oh! Shoot! Great. Caught by Phil.
Caught by Phil doing what?
What does it look like we're doing?
Oh, come on. Tim does not like eavesdropping. Who's in there anyway?
It's gotta be something good.
Sam is in there.
Sam?
Yes.
Well, why Sam? She doesn't even work here anymore.
Yeah, exactly my point. Well, we're hoping that she doesn't work here. If she comes back to work here, she's going to ruin everything.
Everything.
Okay, right. Maybe not everything, but at least everything she touches.
Oh, come on.
Excuse me.
Oh, look who it is. It's Sam. Sam is in the office.
Oh, gosh. What's going on here?
Oh, nothing.
I
Just
told you it was Sam. I mean, I saw her going to the office. Not like we heard anything, though.
No, especially with the lid on or off.
Why do you have to do that?
I gotta be me.
Yeah. Well, that's what she looks like. She's in down the dumps.
Yeah, she does.
I wonder what.
Why are you so happy?
FunFest is your birthday party capital of the world. Our party packages are so much fun and exciting that we call them Funfestic. Let the expert staff at FunFest create a lifelong memory for that special someone in your life. We offer packages for children, teens, and adults. We also specialize in group events ranging from 20 to 300 people. Book your next birthday party or group event today. Call us at 412-828-1100 or reach us online at www.funfestcenter.com.
Did you know that 95% of Christian parents do not send their children to Christian schools? One reason parents often give is that they want their kids to be salt and light. A noble idea, but consider that they have the rest of their lives to be salt and light. What they need now is an education where they can learn, think, and learn how to think in an atmosphere where their worldview is supported, not ignored or run down. Give them that and their light will shine. Visit PittsburghChristianSchools.net and step up to Christian education.
Remember when paying attention to detail was important to building things that last? At Omega Home Improvements, we believe that your siding deserves that same attention to detail so it too is built to last. We specialize in a foam back insulated panel that features 5 times the energy efficiency and is 4.5 feet longer than other panels used on homes today. We're Omega Home Improvements, doing it right from beginning to end.
Check it out. New to You Kids features retail clothing for children. Many of our items can be found in high-end boutiques. We provide quality clothing and excellent service and specialize in dressing your children from head to toe for weddings, graduations, holiday wear, and pageants. We recognize that you want your children to look their very best. Therefore, these clothing lines are unique and fashionable. New to You Kids is located at 2405 Sawmill Run Boulevard, Route 51 in Pittsburgh.
Brought it back.
You did what?
Yeah.
That's so good.
I mean,
oh, well, sorry, Sam. I know you tried
list
hard
the
to get
rules
your job
together
back.
so she can
That's,
go over
you know,
one.
have to try better next time, even if you make excellent hot chocolate.
Yeah, you know, Sam, I'm sorry too.
If
If it makes it any better, you know I always have room for you over Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
No thanks. Tim gave me my job back.
Then why do you look so sad? I thought that's what you wanted.
Yeah, but he set so many rules.
That's good news then.
It's no big deal. Hey, Chris. How you doing? Good to see you, bud. How things? Have a seat.
Now go ahead.
look at someone rained on your parade.
Doing great. Yeah, I'm a little upset that Tim hired Sam back. I really tried to get this place running. Well, and now we're back to square one.
Oh, you've done a nice job around here.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wiley. Appreciate
It's
it.
obvious that you're a people person. You need to relax a little bit. Be patient with Sam.
You think so, huh?
Sure. Tell her you're pleased with her. Give her another chance.
No. Thanks, Mr. Wiley. Maybe I will do that.
Going on, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I mean, between
There always is.
the Japan thing,
Yeah.
with the nuclear meltdown potentially, you have the budget battle going on. You got
Yeah.
people talking about 2012 already. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like juggle. It's like a circus.
Yeah, and the election stuff, it gets earlier and earlier every year. They're going to be announcing they're running for president before the previous election.
Yeah.
One of
Maybe
these days.
the inaugural address will
Yes.
be the whole
Yes, and I'm
announcement.
running again.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Exploratory committee.
Yeah, kind of annoying actually.
Yeah, it is.
But a lot of things going on, like the budget battle. I mean, that's what do you think about what's going to happen with that?
Well, I mean, one thing I'm really impressed by is that the Republicans have actually, amazingly, politicians have done some of the things they said they were going to do. You know, I mean, there were all these promises, and there always are, about reining in spending. And but the big thing...
Yeah, but are they? I mean, it's like...
They're starting to.
It's like,
It
let
hasn't
me
been
take
long.
this little sliver of this thing.
Yes,
yeah.
and that's actually the main thing. It's not so much, are you going to do something to cut spending? They always do if they say they will. They do something.
Yeah.
But the big thing is, are you going to tackle entitlements?
Yeah.
That's always what it is, because you can do everything else you say you're going to do, trim every other superfluous part of the budget. And if you don't tackle entitlements, it's all just, drops in the bucket.
I love talking to some of my friends who immediately go on and we have to cut defense and everything else.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could take the entire Defense Department
Yes.
and just obliterate it to zero,
Yeah.
and it would still be a massive, especially with the future, with the obligations,
Yes.
with what's going on with entitlements, that completely overwhelm it. Just the
Yeah.
just the debt payments alone, overwhelm.
Well, it's a $14 trillion economy.
It's crazy.
I mean, even a really large fixed cost is really not that bad. I don't mean to belittle this, a billion here, a billion there, pretty soon it adds up to real money, right? But with an economy this size, the only thing that really gets you, for the most part, are those building entitlements year after year, the compound stuff that gets bigger and bigger, that grows exponentially. That's the stuff you really got to tackle. Everything else is, nice symbolism, and it's important that we do it for sort of ethical reasons. You don't want to be wasting money, but that's not the real issue.
Isn't it interesting, though, that the states are really taking the forefront with that,
Yeah.
with Wisconsin and Walker and Kasich in Ohio?
You know
and,
what that is? That's the states basically saying to the federal government, if you're not going to do
Yeah.
this, we will. We're not going to lean on you anymore.
It's going to be interesting to see what the feds do with that. Same kind of similar action,
Yeah.
except on something different with Arizona and immigration.
Right.
And the feds went and said, no.
Exactly.
you can't do
So it's
that.
happening in all kinds of different arenas. So the question is the federal government going to say, okay, we better whip ourselves into shape? Or are they going to say, oh, great, we don't have to worry about that now. You take care of it.
Well-
so they might just let them continue to...
They want to have a best of both worlds, though. They want to let
Yes.
the states pay for everything, but
still
they
tell
want
them
to
what to
mandate
do.
what to do.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
And that's something you're seeing from both parties too. That's the new in vogue thing to do, is just tell states what to do and expect them to work about the details and the money and all that. But it's really refreshing to see, something we had a lot more in the beginning of our country, which is the states taking responsibility, and good for them.
We got 9 years of that, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you had 9 years before Articles of Confederation that we were operating under before the
Yeah.
Constitution was actually ratified.
Exactly.
So, and that's what it was.
It
a
works
very
pretty well.
lightly put together type thing.
Yes, and a lot of thought went into this initially. So it's not really a problem. It could be one of those blessings in disguise. It could be a silver lining.
Well, as long as everything else remains the same, I mean, you have energy policy and all these other things. It's all these meshed things that are part of the puzzle,
And everyone
you,
affects the others,
You
yeah.
take a tooth out and the gears stop working.
Yes.
So energy I'm scared to death with what's going on. Not necessarily because we might have a meltdown, but just because you might have. I mean, we're having like a mental meltdown almost in terms of how to approach these.
Nothing
things.
to fear but fear itself, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, I'm not saying that it's not a bad
No,
situation.
it is.
And you have to take precautions and whatnot. But
people don't do this with other energies. If there's an accident at a coal processing facility, everyone doesn't freak out and stop using
as long as
coal.
it's not owned by Massey Corporation.
True.
But
yeah.
Here
yes.
is your triple soy latte, extra hot, light on the foam. Oh, and I asked Laura to sprinkle a little cinnamon on it for you.
This isn't hot chocolate?
No.
You made this yourself?
Well, Laura did, but
This is actually really quite good.
really?
I'm very impressed. You made this yourself. It's not hot chocolate, and you got the order right, and you didn't spill any. And good job.
Thank you, Phil.
Are you allowed in the glass case?
No.
It's okay. Don't look so sad. I'll tell you what. This is so good. Why don't you plan on bringing me another one in a little bit? Do you want anything?
Oh, sure, yeah. Some
And get something for my friend Chris here too, okay?
Yeah, sure.
There you go. Well done.
If
First
you
date.
two don't mind holding down the fort, I've been trying to get a hold of my friend all day who's doing the relief, starting to do some of the relief work in Japan.
Oh,
and he
okay.
told me if I Skyped him in the next couple minutes, I'll be able to get a hold of him.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going to introduce the band, and if you guys can hold down the fort.
Sure.
Ladies and
Do your
gentlemen, we are pleased to have with us again Ceili Rain. So let's give it up for Ceili Rain.
Thank you. Rock and roll. Here we go, lads. Let's do 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3. Well, I met her on a Sunday, 3rd day of May. Tried not to show her. I was swept away by her giddy girlish laughter, long raven hair, the way that she barely seemed to care. And I love and admire her still to this day. So I have to say, if I could, God done good. God done good. God done good. Oh, God done good. Made a promise, said he would. God done good. Well, we tried to have a baby, tried and we tried, couldn't make it happen. Cried and we cried, searched for an answer, prayed and we prayed. Then one day it happened, from far, far away. A baby boy came and changed our lives, and we cried, cause we understood. God done good. God done good. Yeah, yeah. God done good. God done good. Made a promise, said he would. God done good. Oh, well, I got no money, got no fame, got no title before my day. Got food and water, brick and wood, got love and laughter. God done good. Ooh. Watch our baby sleeping, peaceful and calm. Look at those eyelashes, so graceful and long. He will be a prize for some lucky girl, and a gift of laughter to a cold, lonely world. And we wink at the sky, and we kneel, and we cry, and we cry. We understood. God done good. God done good. Oh, God done good. God done good. Made a promise, said he would. God done good. Made a promise. place, his place, his place.
Do you know that your morning cup of coffee can help clothe, feed, rescue, and care for the poorest of the poor? I know it may seem hard to believe, but it can happen. His Place and Kiva Han Coffee have joined forces to bring a special blend of coffee that will change the world. Hope Coffee is a direct trade coffee, which means that the families of the people who work hard on the coffee farms receive the funds directly from their harvest. In addition, the profits from Hope Coffee go to help rescue children in impoverished countries and bring the message of God's love to people all around the world. For a limited time, for your gift of $37, we'll send you as our thank you a His Place mug and a 12-ounce bag of Hope Coffee. Together, we're changing the world one life at a time through one cup of coffee at a time. Send your gift today.
What's it like when you hear your calling? Will you remember where you were? Will you ignore it? Or will you listen? What if it calls you to go halfway around the world? To share your skills? To serve people you've never met? To do things you never thought you could? What will you do when you hear your calling? Peace Corps, life is calling. How far will you go?
Tim, I'm looking around here, and for an office, it's kind of boring. I mean, you really, maybe like a window or something that maybe
Phil,
different.
I'm trying to talk to my friend here, Jeff Nene. He's with Convoy of Hope, and he is, helping people in Japan right now. Can you give me just a couple minutes?
Yeah, sure. That's actually kind of cool. You get on-the-site information.
On-the-site information.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
Okay.
So, Jeff, what's going on? What are you hearing?
I'll tell you, Tim, it's just real confusing over there right now. A lot of conflicting information that comes out of Japan. I mean, the partners that we have in country will tell us one thing, and we'll hear something different from a news source, and then hear something different from another news source. I guess the one thing that we really do know is that the people in Japan are hurting badly right now, and we want to try to do something to help.
Well, I know whenever there's some kind of disaster, Convoy of Hope is always there trying to help, and you guys are growing as a ministry. I work with you down when things happen at Katrina, and this is far greater disaster, it seems like, than Katrina was. Do you have any idea what you're going to be able to do?
We know what we want to do, and I think the plan changes about every 5 minutes on what we're going to do. We have several things in process. We have a team that has already left our offices here in Missouri and headed for that part of the world. We had them stop off in the Philippines because we have an ongoing feeding program there. It's a safe base of operations that they can start from. And what they're doing there is they're making contact with partners which come from the national church in Japan, come from some missionaries that we know and have worked with in Japan. So they're making contact with them, trying to set up basically a logistics pipeline. One of the most difficult things in a time like this is getting the food or the water or the supplies into the country and getting them distributed. We saw in Haiti, and we saw in after Katrina, like you were just talking about, they sometimes food and supplies would come from organizations that were very well-meaning, but without the proper plan in place to distribute them or store them, they would just get stuck by the side of the road.
Right, the food gets ruined, and the supplies get stolen or misplaced or whatever.
Exactly.
And so are you concerned at all about the radiation? Is your team concerned at all about the radiation?
We're very concerned about the radiation. That is probably the primary reason we had the guys stop in the Philippines. We're working with a doctor, Dr. Jim, we call him, who's third world certified and very active, very involved in the World Health Organizations, various organizations that deal with world health. And he is supposed to meet us in Japan. He keeps changing his plans as he gets information from the medical community regarding the nuclear, the radioactivity, and that sort of thing. So we're kind of taking our lead on the nuclear power situation from him. So,
Jeff, one of the things, I've got all kinds of people coming into the cafe here, and people who were at my church on Sunday asking the same question: what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? How can people help right now? How can people help Convoy of Hope?
I think there's really two big things that people can do. Sometimes we talk about it in a trite way, but really to pray. I mean, I really believe that our God is more powerful than the situation we face. As bad as it looks in Japan, we all serve a mighty God that can move in and take charge of this situation. And what we'd like to see is people pray for the people of Japan, for the circumstances and the situation. Pray specifically for the nuclear power and the people that are dealing with that problem right now, that God would give them wisdom. And then pray for Convoy of Hope and other relief organizations that are working in Japan and trying to work in Japan. Pray that God would give us open doors and would connect the dots, so to speak, so that we can get in and do what he's called us to do.
Well, I certainly appreciate that, and you guys will be in our prayers, and we'll get people praying, and just keep me posted on what more can be done as you find things out. But I got to get back. I got this cafe to run. I'm hearing trouble out there already. So, okay, thanks, Jeff. I don't mean to hold you up too. I know you got a million things to do. Okay.
Yeah, it's great talking to you again, Tim, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Okay, God bless you, man. You take care.
You too.
Bye.
Why the long face?
Nobody here seems to be happy to have me back, except maybe you, Phil, and Louie. Abby and Marcus aren't thrilled.
You'll just have to prove to them that you'll work hard.
You're probably right. I'll try to do my best.
Follow Abby's lead. She's a good example.
Yeah, she is.
If it helps, I missed you while you was gone.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Wiley.
Let's not make a habit of this, okay?
Okay.
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 Are you going to see the young people that voted for Obama in 2008 come back in? Because they stayed out of the last election in November. They didn't.
They're not interested in midterms.
No.
They're usually not interested in elections at all.
They had it, and like you said, the pendulum is swinging faster now.
Yeah. Well, just like people are announcing earlier and earlier, people are getting angrier quicker. They're responding quicker. It used to be 2, 4, 6 years. Takes a little while for people to go, all right, enough.
Yeah, you've had your chance.
Yeah,
you've hung yourself.
Now it's a year, and it's like that's enough. That's enough. Right away. I mean, 60-seat turnover. That's the most in 70 years.
Right.
And even though it took 2 years, it really only took 1.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you'd held the election one year after the inauguration or after election day, you might have had more. Right. So it actually happened quicker than people realize. It's just not allowed to happen any faster than 2 years.
Right.
So yeah, everything's speeding up, and
and
sometimes that's
you
good.
Look
Sometimes
at
it's
the
bad.
mobilized on both ends right now.
Yeah.
Again, what's happening in Wisconsin, Ohio, and whatnot,
Yes.
and the unions, and you also look at more of the Tea Party and more of the conservative and more of the grassroots movement on the right end of things.
Yeah.
And if you had an election today, it might be different because now with the Republican, with with the entrenched guys that have been there, not coming through and cutting like they said they would, and everybody
it's a bit of a civil war, isn't it?
Now you have this internecine, however you say it.
Yeah. Well, that's what everyone said at first about the Tea Party. They said, "Oh, it's just conservatives under a new name. They're just rebranding or something." And then you see them starting to pick off people in the primaries, other Republicans, and it's like, wait a second, they really are independent. They really are mad with everybody.
Thing. People talk about media left, media right, and everything else. I don't think it has anything to do with left
it's inside
or right.
outsider, right?
Yeah, it's
or
where
out.
it's geography based.
People are starting to realize that. They're starting. Look, power corrupts.
Yeah.
Right? Power corrupts. Absolutely. Right. And so it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat because those temptations, we're all human.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're only allowed to elect humans. I think that's in the Constitution somewhere.
Well,
so we're always going to have these
I would
problems.
prefer to elect humans that haven't been tainted by living in a place that in the middle of a terrible recession, the property values still go up.
Well, would it shock you if people reintroduce term limits for some of these seats again?
I would love term limits.
I mean, you see these things, and they're not really lifetime appointments, but they might as well be sometimes. A congressman can get really entrenched.
What I would love with term limits, I would love self-imposed term limits, because I think somebody who actually would run by sitting there saying, I'm going to run
for this amount of time. Yeah.
And not just because of that, but because, especially with Congress, you have 2 years, and with the cycles the way they are, when do you have time to do anything?
You don't. You start campaigning and raising money immediately.
That's the thing.
You know, that's how this country got started. It's the self-imposed check on power. It's Washington stepping down instead of being made king of America, which they would have made him. And then that worked fine for a while, and then FDR had to go and ruin it for everybody.
Mr. Smith goes to Washington. That was done in the 1940s. I mean, come on. You go for a couple of years, and then you come back.
Then you come home and you get on with your life.
Let the next person
It's
do
not
it.
a career. It's public service.
Exactly.
It's something you do for a while.
It's not my service.
No.
Although that would be nice.
Yes, it serviced me very well.
Yeah, right.
So term limits are a good idea, but you're right. It's unfortunate that we have to talk about
You're
making.
not thrilled I'm here working again, but I really appreciate Tim giving me my job back. I promise I will work really hard not to touch the glass case or the coffee machine or give people hot chocolate when they order coffee or even put marshmallows in everything, even though I really do love those little marshmallows. Look, Marcus, I'm really sorry you thought I was using you. I really didn't mean to. Please, you gotta believe me. I'm really sorry.
All right, it's okay. I accept your apology. But you have to apologize to Joe. You hurt his feelings too.
I'll go apologize to him too. I didn't mean to hurt his feelings. And I'm gonna start working hard just like you.
Listen, you don't need to be like me. You need to figure out who you are for yourself. Trust me. All I need you to do is to do your job and to not break anything.
I know.
Okay? Yeah, and you know what? Getting the customers' orders right the first time would be wonderful too.
I will put in their orders in the iPad before I talk to them.
Well, that would be a start. It's nice to know that you remembered something I told you.
I remember a lot of things you tell me.
Oh, we'll see about that. I guess in the interim, it's good to have you back.
Yeah. Welcome back, Sam.
I'm so happy. Can I have a group hug?
There gosh, goodness.
Yay!
Coffee strong. We're all hoping you'll stop by. So come on in and find a friend to help you on your way. Pull up a chair and find his care. We'll be here every day in his place. His place, his place.
All right, thanks for tuning in to another His Place. Okay, Mr. Wiley, what'd you think about Ceili Rain?
Wonderful.
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 They're great.
Wonderful.
They're fantastic.
Wonderful.
You need to go to our website, hisplace.tv, find out more about them, and you can find out where they're going to be playing next and how you can get their CDs and all those wonderful things. If you want more information about Chris and all that he's doing, you can go to hisplace.tv as well. We'll see you next time on His Place when we got another great show for you.
Yay!